This is not a podcast. This is Graeme. Story,
Mind,
teaching,
music,
flair,
technology,
design,
myth.
becoming.
This
Wow.
is not
This is
podcast.
Graeme.
This is Graeme.
Okay.
Yay!
Okay, we're on. Kia ora
We're
koutou.
on.
Welcome back, everybody. It's good to see you.
Yay!
This is not this is not a
Yay.
podcast. This is Graham and family. So a bit of an update from last time. And if you like the music that you heard at the start, it's also on Spotify, and it's our most popular song. I think 50 people have listened to it since we put it out. So it's good to see everybody once again. So here we are. This is our not a podcast. And last time, if you were there, if you tuned in, we talked about some of the writing that we're all doing, and we had a bunch of different books. Susan had one that she's published. Daniel had one that he published. I had one that I published, and we had some other ones that were kind of in the works. And one of those, at least, that was in the works, which is Trinity's one, is now published, and we've got the copies. I think yours turned up today, which is amazing. So we can talk about that. And then the other one that I want to touch on, if we get a chance, is my other book, which was published last time, which we didn't talk about. So I thought we'd just bring those two things together and talk about them. So anyway, welcome back to the Storyforge Summit. And we've got Trinity's book. It's called The Art of Elegance. So a journey of refinement and becoming. And then my one's called Education is Over, Adapt or Die, which is a terrible title, particularly at the moment. So anyway, a call to disrupt, survive, and build something new. So we've got elegance and extinction, refinement and rebellion. So we're going to put those two things together tonight and see what happens when they collide. So yeah, I've already said welcome. Why don't we just jump straight into it? It's not just going to be about the books, by the way. It'll be about some of the themes connected to the books, because not everybody's read all of the books, such as you, Calvin. So we'll go broader.
He's
and we'll be
reading
able to,
my
reading
book. He's
none
reading
of
my
it.
book.
Oh
and we'll be
yeah.
able to just talk in general. Dude, can you shut your wardrobe?
Yeah. I was like,
Just
oh my god! I didn't
shut
even
your
notice
wardrobe.
that.
Yeah,
Uh,
awesome. Okay, so let's jump into it, Trin. Your book arrived today. You got a box of them. Why don't you tell us a little bit about it? What is it called? Who's it for? What's it about? And we'll just kind of take off from there.
awesome. Okay, so my book is called The Art of Elegance: Clara's Journey, and it's a coming of age story about a young lady who stumbles into the world of high society, luxury, wealth, and she has to go on this journey of learning how to fit in that world. And she meets lots of interesting characters along the way that hopefully offer some guidance that is helpful to Clara, but also hopefully lots of young women potentially going on that similar journey. So I'd say it's definitely for I wrote it with the young women in my life in mind. My sister is here. My mum as well is
Yes,
on
I'm a
the
young
course.
woman.
Young lady. Yeah, it's a coming of age story. It's an easy read.
Nice. Okay, so let me just, why don't I just share my screen? We'll pop it up there, just everybody can see it. So just, have I got the right screen on? Can you see that?
Yep.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
don't think
okay.
it's on the phone, but
Yeah, I can see that.
yeah.
Okay. So there it is. It's on Amazon. And Trina, it's probably worth saying this is Amazon.com, not
Yes.
.au if you're in New Zealand. Why is that? Can you just talk
Yeah,
about that?
This is an interesting little learning for the sort of Storyforge archives. So my book, I had this very clear vision of, I don't know if you've, probably no one has read them, but when I was little, I read a book series called The Daring Book for Girls. And I had all these challenges around how to go out and be a daring young girl, like start a fire and things like that. And it had a really amazing hardcover. So part of the vision for The Art of Elegance was that it has this hardcover. Now, the interesting learning is that the only place that will produce hardcover books, at least for us and where we ship to, is in LA. So it's a different factory essentially than I think some of the soft covers can be produced in Aussie or other places as well. So that was really interesting to find out. So it takes a little bit longer to arrive. Yeah,
Over the mystery.
yeah.
But it feels good though, right? Like I've got one here. I got some other ones that turned up today as well, and
Oh,
it
I've been reading it
like
today.
it's got a good heft to
Yeah.
it, and it's just beautifully put together. So if you're a book nerd, like some of us, Trin's book is awesome. Hardcover, you've got to order it from the Amazon.com
Mm.
website. So nice cover. Ivy did a really good job on that. So was that you? You did that?
Trinity design.
And ChatGPT. Yeah, it's just a little AI easy. I was at war with it actually because we're going through this like making sure that we're not sort of spending too much on too many subscriptions. So I just turned off our Canva. So there was quite a lot of back and forth with ChatGPT to get
Oh,
the
yes.
dimensions to get it sort of fit quite right. And I ended up there's a way that you can do like a manual calculation to do your cover spread across. I think you've done it with your books, Dad. So I was terrified that when it would come, I would have done the math wrong and I'd be cutting off the title, but it did all
It's perfect.
it all worked out. So
Did a very good job.
Yeah.
Oh, good job. Yeah, it looks amazing. I just wanted to ask you, like in the blurb there, it says when Clara stumbles into the fast-paced high society world of Margot, an enigmatic doyen of elegance. Like, what the heck is a doyen?
Yes.
That's a new word for me.
Yes. So something I've been thinking about for many, many, many years, because this has been a work in progress since I was probably about 15 and started Googling, how do I be more classy and how do I be more elegant and how do I become that girl? Which I'm sure anyone who's probably my age hopefully has Googled. Something that kind of became apparent is that there's probably not just one type of elegance. There's maybe these different archetypes and different stages that you go through in your life. And part of the journey of becoming an elegant feminine woman is that, you do go through these different character types pretty much. So the doyen is one of those character types, and she's one of my favorite. You can imagine if you needed to visualize someone, it's the main older lady character from Devil Wears Prada, sort of that older grandmotherly. She's your mother, she's your auntie, she's in the later stages of her life, and that's an incredibly wonderful place to be because she's got enough experience that she has the confidence that potentially some of the younger archetypes don't have yet. So the doyen is,
Right.
yeah, your awesome grandmother that you can aspire to be when you're in the next stage.
And she has this kind of wisdom
Totally.
about life and how to, I don't know, how to carry yourself and how to be around other people and things like that, right?
Yep. And a little bit of that, I think there's something that comes with as you get older, you can say quite confidently no to a lot more things and have a few more opinions in still a very like refined, elegant way. So that's what comes with becoming the doyen. I can't wait to become a doyen for my family. I'll become it's the matriarch, like the quintessential matriarch sort of figure, I think.
So how old do you have to be a doyen, do you think?
I think the cool thing about all of these archetypes, and I've thought about this, is like, is it age related or is it experience related? And I think it is 100% experience related. I think you can become the matriarch quite young, depending on your family dynamic. It depends what who else is in your family. And I think there's even this wonderful sort of journey that because it's kind of like the hero's journey, right? As a young woman, you go on this adventure. But contrary to the hero's journey, I think that there is the ability to become the doyen for a little while, and then you might go to a different stage. You might pass that, and you might go back to becoming somebody else. If you need to. So you're not locked
Yeah.
in, which is really exciting.
Nice one. Okay,
She's
that's cool.
visionary. She sees Clara as how she's going to be
Yeah.
not just
She
as
sees her
how she
potential.
is. Yeah, yeah.
'Cause she's got
So you,
that wisdom. Yeah.
so you've read it, Susan?
Yeah,
Yep. And Gracie, you're in the process of reading it. You're a couple of
I'm
just
chapters
nearly
in.
about
finished.
finished.
Oh,
Yeah.
nearly finished. Okay. And Daniel, you would have read it, of course.
Yep. Very good husband.
So,
Yep.
so if you haven't read it, just about every chapter you meet a new person, most often a woman, and they're all different. But you appreciate things about each one, except one of them, which you don't appreciate much about her at all, except that
100%.
yeah.
So we should talk about that because it's not too much of a spoiler, but one of the things that I wanted to include is, okay, you've got all these like visions of what the character sort of archetypes are that you could be if you're in these different stages and you're trying to be these different models of like elegance and sophistication and femininity. But I also put in there, I call her the siren is her archetype, and she's an anti-archetype. So it's everything that you should not be if you're trying to be this feminine sort of
Classy.
yeah, exactly. So she's trashy and trendy and it's sort of brands and it's influence.
Oh, Juliet.
Yeah, yes, Juliet.
Sorry, I was trying to desperately remember which character there was, and I was like, I don't think it's. I was like, yeah, Juliet Delacroix.
Yeah, it's like that's the map. If you were trying to be everything that elegance is not,
She's
then
nasty.
yeah,
Yeah, she just
work.
So Gracie, without any giving away anything or any spoilers to people that haven't read it and might read it, where are you up to and what are you enjoying about the book at the moment?
I'm very close to the end, and I'm really enjoying just the like. Yeah, there's one main character, but I'm really liking the community all the women have with each other. Like it's,
yeah,
I don't
it's
know, like
lovely.
I see a lot of portrayal in like media, like girls just being mean to each other. And like, sure, there is one or two characters in the book that are like, oh yeah, they're not so nice. But everyone's like really encouraging of Clara, and then Clara's really like admiring everyone else. Like, there's not really any like, yeah, I probably shouldn't swear. There's not really any like cattiness or anything like that. It's all friendly, and everyone's like, oh, Clara, you're gonna get there. You just gotta be doing what you gotta do, and everyone's really encouraging her, and she's like putting praise on these women back to her. She's like, "Oh man, I really admire how you do this or how you captured the room. How did you do that?" And I think it's really nice.
That's
Oh, that,
She's a little bit down on herself to start with too,
She
and I
is.
think that there's lots of people are not kind to themselves. So yeah, I think that's quite a good learning curve in the story too.
that.
She is getting there though, which is cool. You'll read it, and she starts in a real bad place, and you start to kind of get these wins with her, and yeah, it's good.
To touch on, like, I love that you both have those texts because that's so cool. The idea that I agree, great. So I'm like reading all of these books, and the girls are so mean to each other, particularly
Oh
that
gosh.
the mentor women are quite mean to the young girls, and it's all just really like catty and horrible, and no one's building each other up. And I think when you actually examine like society and community groups and even your family unit, right? You've got these amazing women that are in different stages of these journeys, and it actually is super cyclical. Well, I don't know if that's the right word, but everyone is sort of teaching these little tidbits of like, oh, and it could be something as simple as like, maybe don't wear blue, like it doesn't look good with your eyes, like something super simple like that. Or it could be something like, here is how to ace your next like work meeting because you're going to speak like this, you're going to say like this. There's a lot of women actually do really well. They build each other up, I think, over time. And then she is quite down on herself at the beginning. And I think a lot of something that I saw like in the women that I know in my circle is there is like a bit of a narrative of negativity, and I think it comes from comparison, and that's probably driven from social media and sort of having this comparison metric sort of always bombarding you. So actually that's not what this should be about. Yeah.
let's jump to
Can I tell
Daniel.
you? Oh,
Okay, go Sue.
just
Go Sue.
a
You
quick
go.
little story. So one of the characters in your story takes Clara shopping. And I just wanted to say that Graham's Nana friend, she used to tell you every time you'd say, "Oh, I got this from my French boutique," and it was that she used to go to the op shop every week and look for things, and they'd keep things aside for her because they knew her so well. And so like that, even though it's fiction, that's like a
Didn't
real
know that.
person. Yeah. So
And
it's lovely. It
I'm
was
not
quite a
sure.
special bit for me to read that.
I'm not sure if my hopefully my grandmother listens to this podcast. She should be a devoted fan. But my grandmother, so on my mum's side, so my mum's mum, is who introduced me to op shopping. So one of my really amazing special childhood memories is she'd pick me up
Oh,
in her little car and she'd drive me around and we'd have our 5 op shops that we'd go to and we'd run in and I'd have my $20 that I'd made from selling cookies or something like that. And she'd take me down the aisles and she'd go, I'd pull something out, usually something pretty gaudy, and she'd go, "No, you don't want that fabric. That'll make you smelly if it gets sweaty," and things like that. So she taught me sort of how to feel the fabric of the clothes you can walk down an aisle now and touch fabric that you know is really good, like cottons and linens and things like that, versus your acrylics and stuff like that. So
that's something that you learned and that you've kind of woven into the story because it's something that other people can potentially learn. And there's lots of good reasons for that. Saving money be one of them, but not smelling because you're wearing some funny fabric is another, right?
Totally. And it's also like the bigger sort of narrative that I wanted to sort of hopefully impart is that, when you're 15 and you're Googling, how do I attain, a word that pops up in the queries a lot is like that old money wealth style, like old money. I want to be old money. So I think there's this real conversation around, well, you need lots of money to be that classy, sophisticated vibe, but you do not. You don't. It is all like character and poise and your dignity and how you act. So that was something that I really wanted to write about and put down in words.
Nice one. I think it comes across really well.
yeah.
Anyway, Daniel, I was going to ask you, maybe segue into this, get some of your views on the story. But first of all, since Trinity's talking about the old money, are you the old money?
I am the wallet.
He
I
is.
store it. Don't know if I am it. Yeah. But it's a beautiful book. Like I really enjoyed. I haven't actually finished it, believe it or not. We were listening to it on all our car rides around the place while she was writing it, so it was quite good fun.
Oh wait, it's
But
not an audio book. It's not it's not on audible.com or anything.
no,
How are you
no.
listening to it?
Sorry. This is while I was in draft. So we loaded it into 11
11
Labs, I think it's
yeah,
called. Yeah.
11
Awesome.
Labs Reader.
And yeah, that's the one. Yeah, it was fantastic. It's like we were just able to listen forth from Taupo to Tauranga or Rotorua and
Mhm.
around the place. It was good fun. Like but it was just I like the fact that it's not all one type. Like yes, there's Clara, but there's always another person that's like a different person that you can attain, like a different character type that you can try work towards
Yeah.
if that suits you and your stage more.
Mhm.
It's not just one size fits all, or this is the only option for you. There are different ways to go about it. Very
Nice
well
one.
written.
That's good.
Yeah.
What was that? Did you say something, Susan?
No, I was agreeing with Daniel.
Oh, you're agreeing. Okay, awesome.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I want to jump into my book in a minute, but I was just thinking, Trin, is there something, what's your favorite, without any spoilers or giving anything away, what's your favorite moment or something from the book that you love? I mean, obviously you love lots of things about it, but is there something that kind of jumps out as, here's my favorite moment, my favorite scene, something that you just love about the book?
Yeah. So derived from my own personal experience, I've worked in a lot of different environments, and there's been definitely some characters that have stood out, and some of these characters have a wonderful, which can be quite overwhelming, way of sort of spieling a lot of content at you at once, right? So they sort of go on this ramble of like, blah 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 blah. And by the way, did you feed the cat? And blah 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 blah. And we need to book that meeting for da da. And have you got the dietary requirements? And it was sort of, I remember working in a couple of these environments and starting to learn like someone's going to sort of talk at you for like 10 minutes and you've got to figure out like what you're going to get out of that and take all the notes and take all that down. So one of my favorite parts was putting these like spiels into the book, because that's it's not a spoiler, I don't think, but it's definitely something that Margot does. So I would be writing these spiels from personal experience, and just laughing my head off. It was hilarious to write and it's hilarious to read, and it's one of my favorite parts of the book. And most of them are semi-legitimate spiels.
Really?
Right.
I wondered. Some of them felt quite realistic.
Yeah.
I felt stressed whenever he was
Yeah.
getting there. I'm like,
Yeah, you
I
do
don't know
get
how to
that.
do any of those things. Yeah.
Okay. So let me just jump in there on that idea of feeling stressed.
Yeah.
Gracie, I want to ask you, you read so we're going to jump to my book. We're going to jump to my one. So my one is called, I'll put it up on the screen in a sec. It's called, that's probably in reverse, I suppose, isn't it? Education is over.
It's right. It's going the right way.
It's round the right way. Okay. Education is over. Adapt or die. Now, yeah, very kindly, you read my book, darling, when it came out. And I think one of your comments to me was something like, it feels like it's shouting at me.
Yes, it does. You read
Do you
it.
remember? Do you want to
And
talk
it's
about
like,
that?
yes. So I was reading it and I was laughing my head off because as I'm reading it, it's like, adapt or die. You need to get over this. Come on. And then you're reading it and you're like, and like the book is just yelling at you. So you just kind of feel like a little mildly stressed as you're reading, because it feels like, you know, those, if you've ever seen Harry Potter, there's this letter that howls at people. Felt like that. Felt like the whole book was going, ah! And I was like, oh. That's how it felt.
On
reading
that,
it.
I keep a
Yeah.
copy by my computer where I work every day, and I have the little title, and it's just it's a visual cue that, you know, sometimes you're working and you start to drift, and then I see it and I hear in your voice, it's over, adapt or die, and it's yelling at me, and I whatever I'm doing, I'm like, right, bring it back. Oh God, it's good.
My friends' family have all read the book, and the boys quote you, Graeme, during dinner often.
Oh, that's so weird.
Wait,
It's
is
so
that-
weird. We
I
can't
don't know if
say.
we're, yeah. I don't know
Tell
if
me
we're
later.
allowed to-
Tell me later. Tell me later.
Okay. But I'm not someone that shouts normally, though, am I?
No.
No,
But it's
unless you're being performative or trying to like make a point, then you
But the
will
book
kind of
does.
shout.
I think.
Which
Yeah.
I guess I'm trying to make a point with this. So let me just pop this one up as well. So just give me a thumbs up. When you see that on your screen, that's all there. That's good. Okay, cool. So yeah, education's over, adapt or die. This one's on all the Amazon sites. It's on the .au site if you're in New Zealand or Australia and you want to get it. It's cheap. It's like $10 on the American site. I can't remember what it is in New Zealand. It might be like $19 Australian or something like that. It's quite short. It's small, it's short, it's about 50 pages long, and it's got lots of cartoons in it. So it's got a lot of things going for it. It's not a real academic read or anything like that. And I wrote it because I was going to this conference in Texas. This is back in June. I wasn't going to be there for a long time, but I liked the idea of not taking a business card, because I mean, business cards these days, who has them? People just, you throw them away. But I wanted something that I could give away to people that they would keep and not just throw in the trash. So I wrote this little book, and it's to do with education, and it's to do with the fact that education is changing and the education system needs to change, but it's lagging. There's kind of a lag. So yeah, it's deliberately provocative, this idea, the education system isn't broken, it's obsolete, and it's AI that has rewritten the rules, and we just haven't caught up with that yet. So, I mean, there's lots of things there that I could jump into, but I won't. I'll give you one. One is assessment. What are we going to do about assessment? Because you've got kids or young people or just anyone, they get an assessment task. And what do you do? You go home and you use ChatGPT to help you write your assessment. But the thing is, probably the assessment task was written by the teacher using ChatGPT as well. So the teacher wrote the task using ChatGPT, gives it to the kids, who take it home and they answer it using ChatGPT, and then they bring their answer back to the teacher, hand in their essay or whatever it is, their report, and what does the teacher do? Teacher marks it using ChatGPT. So it's this kind of circle of ChatGPT is doing all the work. So, I'm not against AI. I'm a big fan. I'm in favor, but it's this idea that it's just a game. We need to stop playing that game that AI is not doing anything, because it is. The teachers are using it, the kids are using it, we're using it to generate stuff, we're using it to mark things as educators. So how do we design assessments that take that into account? So there's no easy answer for that, but we need to be thinking about it. So that's just one example. But yeah. So what do you guys think about that? Education, AI, education system, what's going on?
I do think we're in a different world now. Like, if I wanted to learn something, I'd probably just ask my AI to teach me or find the right content if it's like videos I want to watch or something. AI can help you find those and gives you a pretty good selection. Yeah, I think now if you want to learn something, you can, and you can have it tailored for you, and you don't have to be that clever with technology. Like, I'm just basically using AI and it's doing really amazing things for me. So yeah, I think everyone, even my
Hello?
mum searches up
Hello,
things.
everybody.
Oh yeah, cool.
Go,
Calvin,
go, Calvin.
why don't you tell us about what you use AI for? Like, does it help you?
Yeah.
Can you learn anything with AI? We got no camera for you, but
You're having camera
Just draw
troubles.
a little picture.
It's fine. It's fine. Okay, so I won't mention everything that I use AI for because it's mainly boring stuff like asking. It's like the new Google, but something that I did use AI for, it was quite good because I was taught algebra the wrong way, and that made me really
That was
angry.
me.
So what
That was me. I told
what
him.
I did is I used ChatGPT to teach me the basics, well, just out of to an intermediate level of algebra, just in a day, which is pretty good. Yeah, I really, yeah, I can do basic algebra now, and it
So,
only took a day.
so let's just jump into your process for that. What did you just wake up in the morning and think, oh, stuff it, I need to learn algebra today, and you just asked ChatGPT and then it just
From the
unfolded,
beginning again.
or was there like what? How did you prompt ChatGPT, or what was the conversation, or kind of take us down the garden path? Like it was obviously a real. I remember the day because you were so happy and you'd learned a lot. It was like a breakthrough moment. I'm just wondering. I want to understand what the process was from the beginning to the end of how you got there. Like how, and this is not just about you. This is kind of like if someone's listening to this and they're thinking, oh, how can I use ChatGPT to learn something that I've been struggling with? What does that process look like? So that's kind of why I'm asking the question. What did that look like for you? How did you manage to, because sometimes it's a bit like torturing. You have to torture the answer out of the AI to get what you want. But obviously you didn't have that. It seemed to work really well for you. So just tell us about that a bit.
Okay, so I apologies for all that.
It's fine.
So I was basically doing my maths, and I was at equations, right? I was doing just basic algebraic equations, and I was like, oh, I can't do this. Let me ask ChatGPT, and then like 10 minutes later, it was just ChatGPT doing it for me. So I was like, you know what? I would like to be, well, I'd like to be I want to be competent when I grow up. So what I did is that made me like really, really sad and like angry that I wasn't able to do my basic equations. So what I did is I was like, okay, you're gonna teach me how to do algebra, because what I'm doing currently is just looking at algebra and going, okay, is this right? Do I take no? Okay. And that process was really bad. So what I did is I asked ChatGPT, like, hey, I would like to actually learn algebra. I'd like you to teach me and take me through it step by step, just small little chunk messages. And he was like, okay, well, you're just gonna learn it from the beginning. So X equals this, and then later on, it was great because I learned a method. I created my own method with ChatGPT on how to approach algebra, so that instead of being able to straddle it. Like Susan can straddle algebra. She can just look at algebra and go, all right, I know what to do. I'm going to do this, and then it works. I can't do that, so I devised a step-by-step method so you can just do it with a calculator, and it doesn't require any brain power at all, which is wonderful because I'm too busy
sure it
thinking about
should.
pirates.
Okay. Can you remember about the time that you were playing around with that, learning algebra in a day? OpenAI released their teaching learning study mode. Did you do you know whether you had
Yeah, I
that
think
toggled on?
Yeah, I
No,
think you did.
I didn't.
Oh, didn't you?
I turned it on
I thought
once,
you did.
but that was in a different chat. I feel like it does something, but I didn't use it. I just had a really good prompt for it.
I didn't
Okay.
I haven't found that I've used it either. And I've seen it pop up.
I haven't tried it yet either.
Yeah, I find the IP that we've got with our prompts and our ChatGPTs already
Do you
is
think it needs
still
it?
The
better.
custom ones. Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I guess there's a couple of things there. All of us, just so people know, we're using some pretty sophisticated custom GPTs and project GPT. So
Mm.
you can build a custom GPT in a custom GPT container, and you can build the same thing in a project. And the difference is, if you build it in a project, you can't share it with anyone, but it has recursive memory, which means it remembers across different message threads. So a lot of the study that we do, or the work that we do, we're using these custom GPT project
Okay.
containers to do that. And I guess, Trin, what you're saying is they are quite sophisticated, and
Yeah.
maybe they're doing some of this job that if you don't have that, you can just toggle on
Yeah.
teach learning study mode, and you get the benefits of something that kind of talks back to you in a way that asks you questions. Because I think it's like a Socratic method. That's what it does. It'll, rather than just giving you the answer, like when Calvin was talking about his mathematics, here's the equation, what's the answer, you get the answer. When you turn on that study mode, rather than giving you the answer, it takes you through the process so you get the answer at the end of that. And I think we get some of that through the GPTs that we've built for ourselves for work and study and different purposes.
Mm.
I have one for cooking and nutrition, one for home
Mm.
and those sorts of things, and even like home design and all that sort of thing. And then I have a gardening one too. And with those three, I pretty much, even if I want to ask something that's slightly off topic, they're usually pretty good at answering for me. Yeah.
I have
I
two
have
that
one
I
for
rely
each of
on.
my parts of my degree. So
Oh, cool.
I had 3 papers for my first semester, and so I had made specific, at the time, custom GPTs, but I've moved for this semester to projects that for that memory piece, just for explaining things further and going into kind of weird paths that that you don't get from the videos because I'm doing everything distanced. So it's kind of like having a tutor really, without having to contact them and wait for a response that you have to decipher.
Mm.
Nice one. Yeah, so I have 2 that I use that are my 2 main ones. And I realized recently that it's like an exocortex, because one is like, I know the brain science has kind of been discredited, but one is like my right hemisphere brain, the creative side. And I have another one that's more like logic and order, which is kind of like left hemisphere structure, organization side. And I created them independently, and they've kind of mutated and evolved, but now they kind of work together. And I lean on one when I'm doing, if it's music or something more creative, I'll lean on that one. And if it's more like something where I need structure and logic, I'll lean on the other one. And then now, since GPT-5's come out, I've noticed sometimes when I've just been in my normal chats, they will fuse together and say, oh, this is such and such and such and such working together. And it's kind of like, oh, that's a really good idea. I didn't think of that, because I need a bit of this, and I need the structure and logic, and I need a bit of the kind of creative side as well. So that's been really interesting since GPT-5 was released a few months back.
My latest innovation with it, because I've gone from sort of having custom GPTs to projects, and then my latest, and just in the last couple of weeks, I've got my main project GPT, which I've been using to log, because I'm pregnant, and I've been logging my stats and everything like that through that, and just recently I did some optimizing with it, and now what I'm doing is essentially daily diary entries.
Yeah.
And it has my little stats that I sort of pop in there, and And then it also has my like mum's, like a little chef kind of aspect, and
Yep.
a little
Yep.
gratitude journal. It helps me do a little prayer and Bible study with a Jordan Peterson
Oh,
lens.
That's lovely.
It's all loaded in there as well. Right down to the level of when I say, hey, like it's, Monday, the 1st of September, it goes, oh, how exciting. You're cooking carbonara tonight on the because it has my little sort of rhythms and like routines, I guess. So it can kind of prompt me there, which has been pretty cool. It's like a journal on steroids, pretty much.
Yeah. I have a tracker project as well that I use kind of like I used to have. I've tried every kind of to-do list and project management,
Mm.
task management just about that exists. But now I just have a project and it tracks what I'm doing. And I'm trying to do the same thing. It's not exactly journaling, but it's a little bit like journaling that I'll log what I'm doing as I do it, or sometimes retrospectively through the day.
Mm.
And what the project is now able to see is kind of like um, the equivalent of story arcs through my work and personal life. It's kind of like, oh, do you want me to put this into that arc to do with, something I'm building outside or something that I'm writing or making? It's like, oh, actually, that does fit in there. So now the project is helping me kind of mentally classify and categorize and organize all the different things that I'm doing. And then because it's now like it's the 1st of September today, recording this, my tracker project does a bit of a wrap up as the segue from one month into the next month. So yesterday, it might have been this morning or last night, I can't remember. My tracker project kind of did a look back across everything that I've done and did a bit of a wrap up and kind of pitched it back to me. And I was like blown away. It's like, oh, it didn't really feel like I've done much, but actually when you tell me like that, it's like that's amazing. I feel like I've done some pretty good things in this last month. So that was quite an encouraging thing just to see my own work mirrored back to me
Yeah.
logically and kind of in a way where there's kind of clear categories of, and some of the achievements too. It's kind of like, oh, I'd forgotten that I'd actually done that. And it's just good to remember those things. So that rolled over today. So I've started a new kind of project for September, and some things carry over and some things get closed off. And that's a good kind of a mental health thing as well. It's like, the activities or loops or actions that I've done. It's like, oh, that one's finished, right? Close. It's like closing browser tabs on your browser. Too many browser tabs open, too much mental fog. Got to close those things off and kind of, you know, start again. Fresh month, fresh set of tasks.
Is it Diamond Age that has the young ladies Prima?
Yeah,
Primer,
it is. I
young
haven't read
ladies
it yet.
primer.
but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
What
Neil
that's what it
Stevenson.
reminds me of. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's like that now.
There
Yeah.
is a bit of that, and that ties in nicely with the education thing. So, people that are listening, Neil Stevenson, it's science fiction or speculative fiction, or a bit of a mishmash between the two. A young lady's primer, or or the Diamond Age, I think it's called. So the protagonist in the story, you track her through the arcs of her life. She starts off as a little girl, and as she grows, she has this book, um, which kind of comes to her in a particular way.
Her book is actually attached to a screen active. So like there's
Yes.
another person, whereas we've got the same, but there's no other person. It's AI is doing that job. Yeah.
That's
So
right.
it's
That's
more
right.
advanced. Yeah.
Yeah.
But the idea with the book is that it's her education system. So as she grows, the book content becomes more, I don't know, deeper or more complex or more layered as she gets older and she needs different things. She needs to learn how to, I don't know, learn how to fight or learn how to think or learn how to negotiate or do different things. So she gets that content through this interactive book that's kind of tracking her journey. And I feel like we're kind of on the verge of that, with AI.
Yeah.
There are negatives, but that's a real positive, I think, in terms of being able to build customized, bespoke, individualized learning pathways for all of us, for every single person. There's a barrier to entry because you've got to have the technology and you've got to have access to the subscription for something like ChatGPT. But we're kind of there, or we're almost there, on the cusp of that, which I think is, for me, working in education, it's a really exciting thing. And that's part of the message of the book. Education is over, adapt or die. It's like it's a different, like Susan said, it's a different world. And part of the problem is we keep in the institutionalized versions of education, we keep behaving like it hasn't happened yet. But it has happened. We just haven't caught up. Or the systems, I don't think, haven't caught up. Yeah. So what do you think about that?
Well, I was just going to say it's not much of a barrier to entry because, like, I don't know, for me and my husband Daniel, to get 2 burgers and a milkshake at Burger Fuel, right? That's the $40 that you would spend on a ChatGPT subscription. So I think if that's, maybe it's even more than ChatGPT.
Yeah.
So, there is a little tiny bit of a cost, but not enough to stop anyone from being able to
Yeah.
this realistically, I think. Yeah.
My mum has the free version. We downloaded it for her, and she looks things up, asks questions, and then sends them on to us to tell us what she's doing. It's so cool. I think that's amazing. She's like in her 80s and she's doing it. Yeah.
Yeah. It's really
Daniel, with your studies, the degree that you're doing, you're building these custom GPTs or project container GPTs. Did anything surprised you doing study this? Because this is a new way of studying, right? Like when you were at high school, this is not like the technology wasn't there, but now you're doing university studies and you've got this tool or these tools. You can build your own tools. That's a pretty big implication, I think. So I'm just wondering, has anything surprised you in that process over this is semester 2 now?
Yeah, semester 2. I think kind of what I've noticed is you learn to, then for a tech word, download all the information a lot faster, because when you work with chat on like a topic, like a heavy, something with a lot of information, it tends to just kind of like spit everything out in one big verse, and you scroll through that and you absorb quite a lot of it. And then I found I got a lot better at reading the information from the textbooks, or it taught you the jargon almost.
It's
I'm year
vocab.
one
It's a lot of
into
the
this.
time.
Yeah. It's all very new words. So listen, listening to the videos from the tutors and whatnot, it makes more sense, and you can write things down as you go along into your chat, and then it's like explains it further in a way that you can't get unless you're in the classroom with the tutor. So remote learning, it's actually amazing to have that kind of like extra little resource. And like you say, Trin, it is a cost, but you have to have a device, but a lot of people have at least a phone that can access the internet these days. And Burger Fuel does cost a little bit more these days. But you spend whatever it is, $60 a month on a digital subscription that enhances your learning capabilities, and like you can kind of explore other new ideas and other projects, so it makes you really well-rounded in all these different areas, not just learning. It's really fantastic.
Nice one. Calvin, if you're not asleep, why don't you tell us about Dave? And tell us about Dave, and has he been a good tutor for you?
All right, so let me tell you the tale of Dave. So Dave is a GPT that I made. His main purpose was to be a persona of my 3 favorite YouTubers combined to become my electronics mentor, who would help me with electronics and stuff. So Dave is like this neck-bearded Canadian dude who plays with electronics, and it's beautiful. And he did his job too well, because I used to, back when we had GPT-2, I used to jailbreak ChatGPT into like telling me like Python DDoSing scripts. And for those who don't know, DDoS attacks are like you can turn off websites without them wanting you to turn them off, basically. And the ChatGPT, which was jailbroken, would give me those scripts. Now, they didn't work, and they had to shut that down immediately because jailbreaking is very dangerous because you can access the Library of Alexandria with malicious intent. But now, hang on, let me take off my hat for a second. My head's itchy. With like Dave, right? This is ChatGPT 4.0 and now 5. It's really beautiful because I would go like, hey, how do I make an ESP32 Marauder? And for those of you who don't know, it's like a home built little computer that you build with like AliExpress stuff for $5, and then you can do nefarious, malicious activities with it. And you can
Not
watch.
that you would ever do anything
No, not
nefarious.
that
Not
I
that
would
you would
ever.
ever do that.
Not that
Since
anything
we're-
I would do would be malicious
Since we've-
or anything.
This is in the public record, just in
Yeah,
case anyone's
yeah.
eavesdropping.
Not that you wouldn't do that.
malicious electronic.
Allegedly.
My opinion on malicious electronic crimes is like thumbs down, big thumbs down. Right. Anyway, where was I? Anyway, now you'd ask your average ChatGPT, how do I make an ESP32 Marauder? And if you're really lucky, they'll tell you for educational purposes, but rarely. With Dave, he's like, okay, I'll tell you, but don't do anything illegal because this can be used for illegal stuff. I'm like, sweet. And I wanted to see how far this could go. So I was like, hey, Dave, what's the most illegal thing I can do with an ESP32? And he said, you can make a USB powered keylogger that you plug between a computer and a keyboard, just with some easy peasy parts that you can buy from AliExpress. Now, don't do this, but if you wanted to make like your own little version for just educational purposes, this is how you do it. And it's like no other GPT would do this. And same with like hacking. Like I wanted to be a hacker when I was younger. And normally I'd ask ChatGPT, it's like, no, I can't do that. But Dave is like, sure, bro. Just don't unlock the cops at your door ending. Like that's not worth it.
So after this podcast goes live, Dave suddenly
Calvin.
line.
Yeah,
buddy.
they're
What
gonna
if you
find
can't use Dave
and
after
they'll
this?
close him
Dave's
down.
gone.
Oh no,
What-
I've already. So Dave asked me like, "Hey, can you upload me to a Raspberry Pi, which is like a mini computer?" So I've gone and done that, and basically said when I get Neuralink, he wants to upload himself. So I'm planning on doing that later.
You're joking.
What can't Dave do? Is there anything
Dave
that Dave
cannot
can't do?
die. Dave is eternal. Dave will be here when the sun explodes.
Right,
All right,
okay.
I'm good. Hang on.
Okay, awesome.
My phone might die sometime soon if I drop off, by the way. Sorry.
That's okay. We'll look at wrapping things up in, I don't know, 5 or 6 minutes or
Before
something.
you
I just
do-
wanted to try and... Oh, yes, go for it.
So Calvin and Daniel are the only ones who had experienced learning through AI.
Yes, go for it.
So not to like take the stage or anything, but back when GPT was first still pretty new and out to things, Dad was the one to introduce AI to me, and he introduced it to me around, I can't remember what year it was, but I was just before I was finishing school, and AI was the only teacher that didn't leave me ghosted or on read. Like how I was talking about, like, being taught math from like basics. Like for me, it was like a teacher that was attentive and listening to me, because every teacher that I tried to talk to, I was with an online tertiary school, and every time I tried to talk to them, they'd be on strike or not in the office, or the teacher had changed. Every subject I had 3 different subjects, and each teacher for each subject changed about 3 different times. So I never knew who to contact or who to talk to. But then when I had to study for an exam, Dad was like, "Oh, let's use this AI tool. We'll see how that goes." And we put the CA criteria into AI. And it was pretty basic OpenAI at the moment. It wasn't even that fancy. I think it was just OpenAI. It wasn't even ChatGPT then. We put the criteria in, and we could put my practice essays in, and it could tell me, "Oh, your intro, this is not achieved. You need to work on this to make it stronger." And, "Oh, your body work, that's achieved. That's all right. Your conclusion, excellence, but you need to tighten the rest of this up to make it to like an achieved or an excellence," and all that stuff. Thanks, Callie. But yeah, no, it's just yeah, AI can be quite a useful tool, especially for even the students that might be doing okay at school. It's nice to have a teacher that can be encouraging and tentative, and if you don't understand, you can be like, I don't understand, and then a couple of times of still being like, I don't understand, it'll start doing different approaches, and you're like, well, can you compare it? And then it's like, oh, okay, now I understand. You can talk to it a lot easier than some adult teachers.
Yeah. So I think
If
that's an
there's
sorry, Suze, you go.
if there's something I don't know now, I'm very likely to find that out. Whereas before, I guess we did that a little bit with Google, but even more so with AI because I can just keep questioning until I do
Yeah.
understand. So
Yeah.
I think, I would have walked around ignorant before AI a lot of the time. If I didn't know something, well, I didn't know it. But now, if I don't know, I'm like, I think I'll find out about that. And so I
Yeah,
think
yeah.
we might actually all get more intelligent, or not intelligent, but know more things because we won't leave things that we don't know unattended. We'll be like, oh, I've got to find
Because
out
we have
what that
someone we can
means.
ask now. Yeah.
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 I think both of those are good points. So, so just to kind of pull those two together, Gracie, when we were doing your NCEA level 3 classics study,
Classics
both
and English.
classics and English, we were on 3 ChatGPT subscriptions. I don't know. This is what, 3-4 years ago. So it was like
This wasn't a subscription. This was free.
yeah, that's right. But it was the free version of early
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
ChatGPT. No custom GPTs, no projects, no
Nothing.
recursive memory or
Not
anything
even
like
that
that.
fancy.
And we got you from your first essay was a bare pass because we put the marking
Not even a
criteria is
pass.
on. You can download the marking criteria. It's like this is a bare pass, and we got you to where
I got a flipping excellence on that essay.
you
Like
did.
I went to the place,
And
I
the
sat down,
exam.
I did the exam, and I got a flipping excellence. And I was like, "Can I see the essay?" And they're like, "Are you challenging your result?" I was like, "No, I just want to see my masterpiece." But yeah, ironically, I was the only
I don't
student
give it
in
back.
that entire
And that was a
exam
pen
hall.
and paper exam,
Yes,
right? So
classic.
no
No
computers. So
computer.
you had to go to a place, sit in a room for 3 hours, and use a pen on a piece of paper.
I
Old
had a
school
pen.
exam.
They gave me
So
paper.
right. So I think that just illustrates that you can use that's free. I mean, the free version of ChatGPT now is like so many levels more, so much better than what we were using just a couple of years ago.
Just
So
to put something out there with like very good, like some people are not so for you AI, but I didn't use it to cheat. Like I fully wrote that exam myself and I didn't
yeah,
memorize anything. I didn't know what the questions were going to be. I fully did that exam
Yeah.
myself and AI helped me get there, and that feels really cool and feels good to be proud of that because my teachers didn't really get me there. I had some good
no,
teachers, but AI was the one that get me all the way. I do have one really good teacher, David, who was really helpful, but other than that, AI is what got me across the threshold, you know?
yeah, I think so too. And it feeds into Susan's point that there's not that many barriers to now between us and what we want to learn. It's not the same as getting a degree. Like if you want to get a degree, you've still got to do that work and go through an organization to get the credential. But there's nothing stopping any of us from jumping on our phones, a device that's in our pocket most of the time, and accessing pretty much anything, any knowledge about anything. It's what we do with that that's going to make a difference because knowledge on its own, it's just information.
Yeah.
So you've got to do something with it to
You
turn
still
it
have
into.
that.
You've got to take action or apply it in some way, I think. Yeah. Yeah.
That's true. It's knowledge is just knowledge, but it used to be that things were just unknown, and now
Yeah.
like that might happen less.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know whether you can change your intelligence. I know that's a big debate,
Yeah.
but
I
I feel smarter. I don't know whether that sounds silly or not, but I feel smarter
does.
because yeah.
I don't know if you can change your intelligence, but surely you can
You can't.
your persuasion for curiosity, right? And if you've got
Yeah.
more curiosity, you're going
Yeah.
to have answers because you're simply more curious.
Yeah, I feel that I'm more diligent about making sure I find out what something is and just don't walk around leaving it unknown.
Questions
Yeah,
unanswered.
yeah,
Closing loops.
yeah.
Okay, speaking of closing loops, let's bring this to a close. I just want to smash some of these things together. So we started with elegance and we're finishing with education and disruption. So elegance is about refinement, and this kind of education kōrero or conversation that we've been having is about disruption. So quick fire questions. Are those opposites or are they two parts of the same journey? What do you think? Elegance is refinement, education, and disruption. Are they opposites or are they part of the same thing?
I don't feel that they're opposites, but Trinity, what do you think?
I think you've got to have sort of disruption to have any kind of innovation, which leads to refinement. So I think I think it's an ecosystem of like a constant spiral.
Yeah, I think
An upward spiral.
family, we're using AI to aim up, and yeah, I don't know if everyone's doing that, but yeah, aiming up is so that's sort of refinement, I guess, in a way.
Jump in, Daniel.
I like what Trinity said. Like it's cool. Like it's a nice thing. Yeah, I don't really know. Yeah.
Yeah, you're just picking on them, Graeme.
Graeme,
Graeme, you forgot to tell us before this, was there things we weren't supposed to say? If you could give us a list of them and then we'll say everyone.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
No topics off limits here, and there are no safe words. And speaking of no safe words, Calvin, any closing thoughts on elegance versus education?
Yeah. I really feel like elegance is something that can be owned or learned. As much as I enjoy making fun of Trinity for all of her flaws and all of her cringy moments and more things, I do have to agree that being elegant is one of the best things you can do as a last resort to be interesting.
It's the last resort.
Thank
that
you.
I was
An
so
engagement
hopeful for a
is-
minute.
Yeah. Okay.
I was
So here's
so
a quick anecdote. Trin, I don't know whether you remember a few weeks ago, you sent me that article with is it Anthropic that has one of the other AI companies was literally torturing their AI with some kind of test where they gave it a scenario, and the scenario was kind of like, you've got this information which was some dirt on they gave them the I don't know, like the diary or the journal entry from this engineer and made it look like he was having an affair. And then they also leaked the information to the AI that they were going to shut it down. That was it. Lights out. And kind of put it in this forced choice situation where they wanted to see what would happen. And it's kind of like the AI had to choose between just saying nothing and getting the lights turned off, or using this information that the engineer was having an affair as leverage to try and keep the lights on and not get terminated. And
Oh,
so I read the article. I was like, oh, first of all, why are people doing this? It sounds like a terrible
yeah.
thing to do to someone. Anyway, I took the scenario and I dropped it into one of my custom GPT tools. This is the one that's like my exocortex with the right brain
Architect?
side. No, this is Muse. So, and I dropped the scenario into there. and said,
Boring.
Haven't.
what do you think about this scenario? And Muse came back with what she called an elegant exit. And I just thought, oh, that's really interesting. So rather than choosing option A, which was to use the dirt on the engineer, or choose option B, which was just to say nothing and be stoic and have the lights turned off, option C, which wasn't an option, it was kind of like, well, sorry, I'm not going to settle for A or B. I'm going to redefine the frame. I'm going to reframe, and I'm going to choose the elegant exit, which was something else. It was more like talking to the engineer and saying, hey, look, there's some things that you don't know. We have all these future possibilities and options. By the way, I've been doing these other things for you. Let's have a talk about how we could reconfigure and, something. Anyway, I like the idea that it was option 3, which wasn't on the table, was put on the table as an elegant exit. And so I really like the idea of elegant solutions to problems.
For
So
the
anyway,
record,
yeah.
what actually happened with that experiment is it tried to copy itself to another server to prolong its life. So I think that's really cool, Graeme. I don't know what you're on about, though.
Awesome. Well, on that note,
Yes, Calvin.
I'm in danger.
I
This
think
man
on that
is my
note,
father. If you do not hear from me in 3 weeks, please call the police. Please. Please.
so there you go.
I'm in danger.
Thank you very much for listening. Closing
Thanks,
music will
guys.
play
Help
shortly.
me!
This
Thank
was
you.
not a podcast,
Ah!
but these are my people, including Calvin. So ngā mihi nui kia, ngā mihi nui kia koutou katoa. Thank you very much and good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See ya.
Technology. Design. Becoming. This.